Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudmeyer, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, everyone. This is Anita Stoudmeyer, licensed professional counselor and love advocate, dating and relationship coach, back this week again with another podcast episode. I am so excited. We are counting down to the 100th podcast episode where we're going to have a big, huge giveaway over on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. You can get all of the instructions on how to enter if you follow at Better Love Movement or go to the Better Love Movement Facebook page or the Better Love Movement YouTube channel. We will be giving away a crisp $100 bill, or I should say it'll be given away through Cash App. So if you have Cash App and you are interested in entering the 100th episode giveaway, head on over to the social media platform or YouTube to get entered today. So I am back this week with another couples only episode. We're in episode number 98. It is entitled Couples Only Negotiation Skills to Get What You Want. And that's what I'm all about. You getting what you want, right? And what you need. And here's the thing about negotiating in relationships. I don't understand why people don't do it more often. Well, I do understand because I'm going to be honest, because we've been raised on Disney or someday my prince will come, or that's not sexy, that's not romantic. That's why. That's why we don't use negotiation skills, because we believe that it should be sexy. We believe it should be romantic. We believe that our partner should be able to read our thoughts through our head, right? And that we don't need to use words, or that there isn't a training that needs to happen when two people raised in two totally different households, in two different houses, two different cities, two different states, two different countries, okay, that they should just automatically, because they have love, I'm putting up air quotes, they should just automatically, know everything there is to know about each other and how to meet that person's needs and wants and desires. And they should just naturally want to do that because, they don't have any childhood trauma. They grew up in a functional home. They grew up without any issues or problems or concerns. Okay, not most of us, myself included, grew up in dysfunctional homes. And so that was our training for love. That was our training for relationships. And dare I say it, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't positive. Most of it was toxic. So this is a skill I am here to teach my folks who are in relationships, my ladies, my feminine energy women who are in a committed relationship or engaged or married. Okay. This is the skill, ladies. This is what puts you in the top 5% of women, that you have the ability to actually use logic to get what you want. And I'm big on feelings. I know that we feminine energy women feel our way through things, but I also want you to tap into the logical part of you, the logical part of your brain, to get you all the things that feel really good. Like sometimes we got to tippy toe into that land of logic so we can get everything we need to live in the land of feelings. That's what this tool or this technique is about. So we're not going to live in the land of logic, but we're going to tippy toe over there, and we're going to introduce these negotiation skills to our guy so that we can live in the land of feeling good, of getting everything we really want and need out of our relationship. Okay? Nothing is worse to me than being with a man who doesn't listen. That is something that I am finally, beginning to see is like my number one don't want on my don't want list, is a man who just doesn't listen. And I want to explain to you ladies that listening and hearing are two different things. Because for women like me who are talking a lot and who are expressing our feelings a lot, and who are, vulnerable and open and receptive, and we're like talking and we're expressing and we're writing letters and we're sending emails and texts and we're talking, okay, there is no reason on earth for a healthy masculine man to not know what we need and want and desire, because we're expressing it all the time. But here's the truth of the matter. There are men out there that don't listen, right? Even when they have a woman who is giving them a blueprint. When I tell you, I have written letters, I have written like manuals on Anita for men that I have been with and been dating. And they still could not figure it out. They could not get it right. It was just beyond frustrating. And it left me to be honest, it left me to understand this isn't my person. Like, this is not my person, and that's okay. Which is why it is usually me that says, you know what, this is not my person. We're not the best fit for each other. It's usually me that says that because, I'm okay with that. I truly, really, honestly want my person. I want the best fit for me. And I'm okay with, sending away with love any man who is not that. I truly, honestly need the best person for me. So the not listening, that's high up on the don't want list. But one of the things I like about this skill, this negotiating, is that if you have a man who's relatively rational, relatively logical, and who listens, right? He listens and he can apply what he hears. I think this tool is going to work for you. Okay, I really do. Now, if you're with a man who is not that, who is not logical, who is a feminine energy man, or who doesn't listen, this may be a little tougher. But if he truly wants to see you happy, if he truly appreciates you doing this tool with him, writing things down, and he has something that he can actually look back at, like, okay, thank you for the manual. I'm going to refer to it, because I'm telling you, I've been in relationships where I would just say, can you refer to the manual? Like, can we not have this argument again? Can you just refer to the manual? And again, I know that's not sexy. I know that's not romantic. That's not, what we were raised on with Disney, but I'm all about getting what I want. I'm all about getting my needs met. And I've gotten really, really good at it. Like, I'm really good at it. And so, no, it's someone else, it's someone else not really listening, or they don't want to, in which case that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to be together. But if you have a healthy masculine man and he truly wants you to be happy and wants to fix it, as a lot of men do, that's hardwired in their DNA, he's going to love the idea of negotiating and sitting down for a solid hour, maybe longer if he can take it, and coming up with a relationship contract, or, just writing down some things that he's going to get and that you're going to get, right? So I had to pull this out of my computer, because one of the things I do with some of the couples that I counsel or coach is I help them to create a relationship contract. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a copy of the one that I created for a couple. I'm going to remove their names and the date, but, I'm going to keep pretty much everything else. There's no information in here that would distinguish who they are. So I've removed all of that, but this is just a guideline. This is just a guideline. You can add in it whatever you want, right? There's whatever you want. That's what I love about this. This could be endless, okay? And I'm not telling you to do that, but it could be. And as things come up, this document is like a living, breathing thing. So you can add things, you can take things away. If you're engaged and then you get married, you can add things or take things away. When you have kids, you can add things or take things away. I mean, this thing lives and breathes as long as your relationship lives and breathes. That's what I love about it. I love this type of thing. I know there are other people, men and women, who don't, but I'm all about getting my needs met. I'm all about getting what I really want and living in a place of feeling good. And if this will help me to get there, I love it. I love it. So I'm going to share it today on the episode and teach you how to negotiate with each other so you can finally both get what it is you say you want. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit from the contract. I'm not going to read all of it because, we delve deep into this, but I'm going to link in the show notes. I'm going to create a PDF and I'm going to link it in the show notes so you can see some of what I wrote. Okay, and I'm going to read some of it right now. So on this date, which there's a blank there, this relationship contract was created between the first person and the second person, or the groom and the bride, or the boyfriend or the girlfriend. This document is a living document that can be changed or altered with advance notice of either party prior to any changes being made. This document is put in place and serves as a guideline for meeting the needs of both parties and to help better communicate those needs to each other. Oh, that just sounds amazing. That just sounds amazing. That's what relationships are about, folks. Meeting the needs of both parties, giving everyone a little bit of what they want and need. Oh, okay. It is not a legally binding document, but rather serves to give each of the parties terms and conditions for the relationship moving forward. Here are several conditions that may be assumed, but this agreement will state them explicitly and directly. Oh, I love that. Because here's the thing. There are a lot of things that couples will assume, right? And so they won't think to put it in a relationship contract. But you know what? What do they say about people who assume? Okay, so we're not going to make any assumptions. We're going to put it in black and white. It feels good to me when I see it and we read it and sign it. That feels good to me. Okay, that's real. Number one, both parties agree not to engage in sexual activity of any kind with anyone else except for each other. Monogamy and faithfulness are expected as long as the parties are together. Number two, both parties agree to talk every day via face-to-face, telephone, text, FaceTime, regardless of time apart for business, family obligations, disagreements, etc. I put this in there as a clause to keep folks from stonewalling. And remember, stonewalling is one of the 4 horsemen that John Gottman speaks of, that when you hit on all 4 of these, your relationship is in trouble. So the reason why I put that in there is to discourage stonewalling. We do not want stonewalling. I'm not good at it. I am not a good stonewaller. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you and talk to you. I don't care what's happened. I don't care how pissed I am. I don't care what we're going through. I mean, my kids and I went through a lot last year. I never stopped talking to them. And I was furious. I was pissed off, but I never stopped talking to them. Because to me, that is, acid to a relationship. I'm not going to stop engaging with you emotionally and talking with you. So that's why I put number 2 in. Both parties agree to be open and honest, as well as transparent in their communication with each other. Even when it is hard to say things to each other, they agree to do so as soon as it is possible to do so. I love it. Number 3, both parties agree to be on the same team and to give each other the love and support they need from one another. They will give each other grace and the benefit of the doubt. They agree to have each other's back in situations and circumstances that warrant solidarity. I put a Bible verse here. Now, this is for a couple that was getting married, one of my premarital couples, and it is Genesis 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Okay, because the couple that I was counseling was Christian. So I tried to apply biblical principles to this relationship contract. All right, conflict resolution. Number 1, both parties agree that there will be no touching of any kind in anger. Ooh, this includes throwing things, kicking, pushing, pinching, slapping, striking, or spitting. Personal space will be respected, and each person agrees to maintain a 3 to 5 foot distance of one another when discussing topics that create tension. Number 2, both parties agree that there will be no verbal abuse between each other, and that includes name calling, swearing, destruction of character remarks, screaming, etc. Number 3, both parties agree to take a time out if need be to cool off if their conflict cannot be resolved with healthy conversation. One or the other will leave the space to another area of the house or outside of the house. It must be verbalized that a timeout is needed and how long it will be for. If one or both parties are leaving the home, they must alert the other of where they will be and for how long. Timeouts will be no less than 30 minutes and no more than 24 hours. Both parties will come back together to continue to resolve the issue at hand until they reach a resolution that they can both feel good about, or they agree to disagree and accept each other's point of view. During the timeout, they will respect each other's space and will not call, go to the place where they are, or keep that person from leaving. So important. And this was the one thing, the taking time apart, that I was really bad at for many years. And a lot of it was due to my abandonment issues. But now that I am aware that this is a tool that actually exists to help and not hurt or not abandon, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I use it, and it's amazing. It works amazing. So these are some tools in here that are going to help you to negotiate getting what you need or negotiating conflict. Okay. Couples time together. Number 1, both parties agree to have couples connection time. I call it CCT. No less than once a week for at least 60 minutes or more. Okay. They agree to each plan an activity for them to do together. They will take turns planning activities every other week. Number 2, both parties agree to make love to each other and have sexual intercourse no less than twice a week. That's what this particular couple had agreed to. My hard and fast rule is at least once a week. You are to make love to each other. You are to have sexual intercourse with each other, barring that there is a physical reason or mental or emotional reason why you cannot. So let's get that straightened out, okay? So if they are not able to have sexual intercourse, exceptions include injury, illness, serious family concerns, death in the family, some medical reason, etc. They agree to some form of physical touch to remain close and bonded to one another. If they are not in the mood for sexual intercourse, they will offer each other some other form of physical touch, cuddling, hand-holding, massages, kissing, foot rubs, etc., to foster closeness. This is super important. Ladies, let me say this. I'm going to stop right there and talk about how we can negotiate physical intimacy. So most men, and I don't know if there are men listening to this, but there might be, most men are interested in having sex. All right. I'm interested in having sex and I'm a woman. Okay. So most men are interested in having sex, and some would say most men are interested in having sex more than women. Okay, maybe. And then sometimes I see where the woman is interested in having sex more than the man. But anyway, but for the guys who are saying, wow, I'm married, I'm not getting as much sex as I want, I'm not getting my needs met in that department. This is where negotiation comes in. We've got to be able to negotiate. We've got to be open to saying, okay, let's talk a little bit more about why we haven't been connecting on a physical level. What's going on there? And so the wife says, well, I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe it's a physical issue. I'm just not as turned on. I'm not as excited about having sex. Or she could say, I'm exhausted. I hear this a lot from women. I've got 3 kids. I've got a full-time job. I'm exhausted. It's kind of the last thing on my mind. And the way that I know for a fact biologically that men and women are different is that men connect emotionally through sex. They can be stressed out or have problems with work or their family. They can have all these problems, but sex is like, it helps them, right? It helps them to de-stress. It helps them to relax. It helps them to take their mind off of their problems. On the other hand, a woman who has all these problems or things going on at home or problems at work or money problems or whatever, sex is the last thing she's thinking about. Those things turn her off to wanting to have sex. So that's how men and women are very different. So while a man will reach for something recreational, and sex is included in that, to feel better, to de-stress or whatever, women are quite the opposite. They have to feel good in all those areas in order to do something recreational and enjoy it. They have to feel good at work and feel good at home. Things are going well and, y'all are getting along well. Like, they need that to want to have sex. And so you sit down and you negotiate what that looks like. So for some women, it looks like, I need more help at home. I need more help with the kids. Or I need you to connect with me outside of the bedroom in a romantic way. I need more romance. I need more intimacy in order to really feel close enough to you to have sex. So you're going to negotiate that. So the guy's going to say, okay, what does that look like? You're going to tell him what that looks like. He's going to do it however amount of times a week you need it. And in turn, you are going to either initiate sex or you're going to respond to his initiation to sex. That's it. It really is that simple. And let me be honest with you. If there are certain duties within the home that I no longer have to worry about, if I can go from working full-time to part-time, that would help me want to have sex more. I mean, there are a lot of things that will make me want to have sex more. Just you listening, non-sexual touch will make me want to have sex more. There's so many things, sending of flowers and little gifts for no reason, texts, emails, letters. Oh, letters are such a turn on. Oh my gosh. Write me a letter once a week. Oh my gosh. That's it. I mean, that's all I need is letter writing. But whatever that looks like for you, ladies, explain that to your guy and negotiate. Say, hey, if I get this, this, and this, I'll be able to have sex twice a week. That's it. It really is that simple. So think about negotiating some of this stuff, okay? I had also put in here financial responsibilities, that they had a set amount that they could not spend above, like they could not purchase above a set amount without talking to each other about it. They also had something in here about not giving loans or gifts of money to family or friends. They had set up a system in which to pay their bills. I give my premarital couples my system that I believe works well to set up their bills. They had talked about sitting down once a month to go over their bills and expenses and staying on track, staying in their budget. There was something in here about spiritual life, about attending church together and praying together and reading their Bible. So this thing goes on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to link to it. I'm going to put a PDF of it in the show notes, and I want you all to check it out. But you can add even more stuff. I mean, there's so many more levels to this thing in your relationship, in your marriage. There could be very specific things, like this couple didn't have any children. So they were my premarital couple. They got married this summer. They didn't have any children. But let's say if you have children, you got a whole section for children and the duties pertaining to your children, or housework. That was something they did not put in their relationship contract that they should have. They lived together, and I was like, you all need to divvy up housework. And you need to be very specific about what your duties are going to be and what his duties are going to be, especially if both of you work outside of the home. I tell so many couples that come in arguing about housework. I don't get it. Here's the thing. You give him duties, you have duties, you all take ownership of those duties. Like if his duty is to clean the bathrooms and my duty is to clean the kitchen and vacuum downstairs. And I mean, I don't ever want to go into a dirty bathroom. Like I'm never going to think about it. And he's never going to go into a dirty kitchen. I'm going to do what I have negotiated. I'm going to do my part and he's going to do his part. The end. Now you're about to ask me, well, what happens when one of us doesn't hold up our end of the deal? I get asked this a lot, okay? Even with the relationship contract. What I like about that is we type it up, they sign it, we put it up on the fridge or anywhere else where you're going to remember to see it. We pull it down. This is when we hold each other accountable. We pull it down when someone isn't holding up their end of the bargain. And yes, sometimes we have to do that. We have to hold the other person accountable to what they agreed to. That's why I love this. I love being held accountable, and I love holding other people accountable. If I have agreed to a verbal or written contract with someone and I'm not holding up my end of the bargain, yes, I want that person to come to me and say, this is what we agreed upon when it came to the division of housework. And I see that you haven't cleaned your bathroom in 2 weeks. What do you think about that? That's how you're going to hold that person accountable. Or you're going to tell them how it makes you feel that this is not being done. And this is what we agreed to. It doesn't feel good when we have agreed to split the housework in this way and it hasn't been done. That just doesn't feel good. I've gone through a lot of trouble to make sure that, we each have a fair amount of housework to do. And, I'm just noticing that you're not doing yours. What do you think about that? Or it hasn't been done in a while. What do you think about that? And it's the same with a guy, your man who's saying, hey, I've been sending texts, I've been writing letters, I've been, bringing home flowers and, just hugging you for no reason and kissing you and rubbing your feet and doing this and that. And yet we haven't made love in 3 weeks. What do you think about that? I know we had this relationship contract or we had this agreement and you needed this and I've been providing that. And yet, you haven't really been in the mood or, you've been feeling bad or something's been going on. Is there something I should know about? So that's how you're going to hold the other person accountable. You're not going to come in guns blazing. You're not going to, accuse and blame and shame, but you are going to make note of the agreement, how it makes you feel, and ask the person, what do you think about that? That's it, right? That's it. What do you think about that? But yes, I love this. I love this because remember, in my world, good, healthy relationships, long-term relationships, spicy, sparky relationships, they are one part the chemistry, right? And all the fun stuff, the sex and the I love yous and the romance, but they're another part common sense, that logic. This is rational. This makes rational sense. You got to blend those two things together. So while this negotiation thing is not super hot, super sexy, oh, we're in the moment and you got to plan for it. You got to sit down. You got to come with pen and paper. You got to type this relationship contract up. There's nothing sexy about that. But here's the thing. If in the end, it gets you what you want and need. And in the end, you get to live in the land of feelings because, oh my gosh, it feels so good to have you take care of this. I no longer have to do that. And now I can take a bath. I can, get a massage. I can get my nails done or my hair done or look really beautiful for you or wear perfume and make love. Oh my gosh. See, that's the good stuff. You're doing this to get to that. That's what negotiation is. But a lot of us have this thing in our mind where we don't want to sit down and do this. Like we think that doing this will lead to like, oh, this isn't sexy, this isn't fun, this isn't romantic. No, quite the opposite. Let me tell you something. I have couples who schedule, they actually take out their calendars for the entire month and schedule when they make love. And I mean, they're having sex regularly. Then I have these other couples who are like, oh, I just want to do it when the mood hits us, or I just want to, and they're having sex every other month. No, for those of us who want to have sex regularly, I'll take planned sex any day over this whole, oh, I just want to do it when I feel like it and having sex once every other month. No, thank you. I say no, thank you to that. So you have to infuse a little bit of the logic, the common sense, the rational mind into this to get to the good feeling place, to be able to say, yes, if I had to schedule out 8 days out of a 30-day month that I was going to get to make love to my partner and really enjoy myself and really feel good with them, oh God, yes, I'm going to take out my calendar. We're going to plan those 8 days and I am going to look forward to them. I'm going to plan for them. See? So I'm not going to wear myself out that morning. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to have shaved. I'm going to have done whatever I need to do. Shave, bathe, smell good, look good. I'm going to do whatever I have to do on that day because I know it's going down. Okay? And here's the thing, men love it. They love this. Try scheduling out an entire month of sex with your man and watch how different he is. Watch how amazing he is when he knows for sure these are the days, this is happening, I feel amazing, this is great, I love it, right? He has something to look forward to. And here's the funny thing about this whole, scheduling the sex thing. The couples I have that do this, like I have a couple that does it twice a week. So they're twice a week, they schedule sex based on each other's schedule and all of that good stuff. But because of the way this is set up, they find themselves doing it sometimes even more. Like, it is not to say that because you have it scheduled, you can't do it on any other day. There will be other days, and they find this every single month. They're like other days where we're just sitting there watching television and we look at each other and then we do it. I'm like, great. But they're like, it's because it's a part of our world already. It's a part of our existence. It's not so far out there that we haven't done it in months. That's a lot of it. That's a lot of the reason why we're able to do it even outside of the days that it's scheduled, because it's something we're already doing. So consider some of these tips, consider some of these tools, consider the relationship contract. Like, literally sit down, and it may take you a month to come up with everything, but I'm sorry, it would be worth it to me to invest sitting down once a week, 4 times, a month, and taking an entire month to develop something that just feels good to both of us. It just feels like, wow, we're both going to get our needs met in this relationship. That feels amazing to me. And honestly, that's the partner that I need. That's the partner that I personally need. Someone who is not only wanting to do that, but like, yes, if this is going to get us both what we really want and need, I would love to do that. I have dated people that they ran from this type of thing. They just hated it. They were like, oh my God, why? Why would we do that? Because it's going to get our needs met? Because it's going to cut down on arguments and fights about the same thing over and over? Like, that's my logic. And that's the part of me, even as a feminine energy woman, that I will tap into every now and again, because again, I want to get what I want. Like, what? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Okay, so these are some of the tips that I wanted to lay out for you in negotiating, getting what you really need and want from each other, and doing it in a feminine way. So we're not coming in bulldozing, but we are, as a feminine energy woman, I want you to have some thoughts and some ideas in mind of what you really want, what you really need, and what you're willing to give in order to get it. Like, that, to me, it's what it's all about. I'm willing to give this to get this. What do you think? See, that's how that works. But sometimes, like I said, you got to sit down and you got to negotiate. You got to come to the table ready to give to get and get to give. That's it. And you can do this with just about anything. In-laws, money, sex, your kids, chores, anything, time, dates, whatever it is you're looking for. You can negotiate anything. And again, write it down, type it out, sign it, hold each other accountable to it. It's a living, breathing thing. If it needs to change, because life is crazy. I mean, we have seen that this year. Things have had to change. We cannot stay so rigidly attached to what we had before, because now a lot has changed. So things will change. So be open to that. Come back to the table to renegotiate. This is what people do all the time with contracts, with all kinds of things. They renegotiate contracts. And that's what you're going to do here if you need to make changes. Okay? Ladies, I hope this was helpful, but trust me when I tell you, I want you to get what you want and need in your relationship. I hope you are as passionate about that as I am, because honestly, I can't operate any other way. I'm not willing to be in a relationship, committed, exclusive or otherwise, unless, the majority of my needs are getting met in some way, shape, or form. I'm just not interested in, just putting up with anything. I want you to get what it is you really want and need. This is one of the ways in which you can do it. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was helpful. I am asking everyone who listens to the podcast that if you would please, on our 100th episode, I will be answering your questions, your comments, anything that you have that you want to ask or you need insight on, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. When you do, you will be entered in the giveaway for $100, $100 crisp dollar bill or $100 through Cash App. You are going to send me your comment, your question, or scenario that I'm going to answer live on the podcast. And you're also going to send me your Cash App. Okay, but that's how you get entered. You have got to submit a question or a comment or a scenario that you want more insight on for the 100th episode, which will be coming up in about 2 weeks. So send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You may also send it to me as a DM on Instagram, or you may message me through Facebook. Okay, but don't forget to give me your Cash App name so I can enter you into the contest. And I wish everyone good luck. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, stay open to love.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.